He stood in front of the small Airstream trailer he had purchased and towed to the 5-acre plot of sand and scrubweed he had also bought. He was more or less alone. Only one of the other 5-acre estates within a mile had a structure on it, and that was a green plastic dome lined with what appeared to be aluminum foil, full of packets of freeze-dried food. Every couple of months, an old man who drove a large GMC pickup truck would arrive at the dome, unload more of the freeze-dried packets and store them in the building, then lock up and drive away. Was he storing it against some future catastrophe? It was hard to determine the motivations of Americans at times. Back home in Chechnya, even in Russia, he had never seen old men hoarding this kind of food. Ruggiero shrugged mentally. No matter. The dome was the only building close, and the next structure past that was a cabin near the small river. The cabin belonged to a Methodist church, and it had been used by hardy campers but 3 times since Ruggiero had lived here. None of the campers had hiked close enough to speak to him. He was grateful for the solitude. Since retiring from wet work, he'd had few occasions to even talk to people, much less have to kill them. He had money banked he could retrieve as needed, using a computer card. Once a week or so, he drove almost 2 hours into town and bought his supplies in one of several large supermarkets. The nearest town, if it could be called such, was Scotty's Junction. A military gunnery range dominated the land to the east. Ruggiero had paid cash for his car, a Dodge SUV, and had done the same for the trailer. The land he had acquired using one of the safe names he held. His profile could hardly be much lower. He could not say he was happy. He had not been happy since the cancer had claimed Anna, and he did not ever expect to be so again. But he could say he was content. His life was simple, his needs few. The biggest project on his agenda was building a natural stone wall along the perimeter of his property. It might take 10 years, but that hardly mattered. Or he had been content until today. As he scanned the rock terrain, the dust and heat-hazed hills in the distance, he knew something was wrong. He lifted the powerful binoculars and did a slow scan of the surrounding countryside. His 5 acres was on a rise, and he had a good view. He could see the old man's dome from the front of the trailer. Nothing. He walked a few yards up the gentle incline behind the trailer until he could see the roof of the Methodist's cabin. No activity there. He lowered the binoculars. Nothing to be seen, but in his gut he felt that something was wrong. He headed for the trailer. He had weapons. Perhaps it was time to take them out and keep them handy? No, not yet, he decided. There was nothing at which to shoot. Perhaps the feeling was wrong. He gave himself a tight smile. He had not survived as long as he had by entertaining such rationalizations. Run first, worry later. It had kept him alive when many others in his profession had died. He had learned to trust it over the years. No, something was wrong. Whatever it was would manifest itself sooner or later. Then he would deal with it.